Hi Scorpio, welcome to your full moon in Aries reading for September 29th, 2023. Full moons close out cycles. The direction this reading is going in today for you is professional assistance. We have number 7 and people. So number 7, the frequency of 7 is something a bit unique. It's not cookie cutter, it's out of the box, right? This has to do with people around you. Perhaps you are giving professional assistance or you're receiving some, but that's the direction that the reading is going in. There can be surprises with the frequency of 7. It's the energy of Uranus, and so that is a bit of a surprise planet. Anything can happen, but it's usually out of the ordinary. For you, your next 2 weeks can be the devil card, or the devil energy, rather. In this card, it says addiction, ego, control, restriction, materialism, which can just mean that you're busy with the material things in life, right? Not so much the emotional or the mental or the spiritual, but the material. Doesn't have to be a bad thing. The devil card does mean that we are holding on to something, however. So you may be releasing some things that were difficult to let go of. This is the time to do it. Any codependencies of any kind, whether it be person, places, substances, the devil is showing you the full hand. He's showing you what is wrong in the situation, what isn't good for you, and giving you the opportunity to let it go. Okay? So a lot of people can think quite badly of the devil, but he's helpful. Right? If you don't see what's wrong, how are you going to change it? So, what is closing out for you here? Okay, this is a very meditative card, the Four of Swords. It is rest and repose. This card warns you that if you do not take your own rest on your own time, that the universe will help you to do it, and probably not in a way that you would prefer. So make sure you get plenty of rest. But this is also a very active mind. There is activity, and that can be towards paperwork. So you may not be out, running a marathon, but you may be making plans. You may be creating graphs. You can be doing a lot of paperwork. It's more mental activity than anything else. However, if you can get on a meditation plan, that would be great. It would be very helpful, and it would help both sides of the physical and mental and spiritual side of yourself as well. Okay. Yeah, this is the card of feeling like this is some competition around you. These are the competitive energies that try to knock you down from your position, literally or figuratively, right? This can be, but if you take the high road with this card, right? If you see things from a higher perspective, you win out of the situation. And here you have that number 7 again, okay? 2 7s. Think outside the box. Can be as a bit of a surprise attack as well, because, and it doesn't, I don't mean by attack, I just mean things happen in a surprising way, unexpected way. He has 2 different pairs of shoes on. He ran out of the house pretty quickly, couldn't even find the right pair of shoes to wear. So it can be things that kind of come out of the blue. But hold your ground. Keep to your higher purpose, your higher perspective. For the good of all, right, is a higher perspective. And you'll win out of this situation. Okay? I mean, that can be competition too. Let's say you're competing for a position. Maybe you're writing your CV. Maybe you're preparing a speech. Maybe you want to go into politics. I wouldn't, but at this time, but maybe you do, and so you're preparing something, right, to win over with a competitive edge. Okay. You are behaving as the Five of Pentacles. Be careful of that. Now, this can be the devil, right? Because this is the energy of lack mentality. It can be actual physical lack, but it begins with the mentality of lack. It's kind of feeling left out in the cold. Everybody else, so you can look into that window, right, of the stained glass window and be like, everybody's got heat and a bed and blankets and I'm out here in the cold. It's that kind of energy. But this is the energy of the warmth. The inside invites you in if you can take your mind off of the idea of not having, right? There are people and situations that want to help. This is actually the card of challenges we face together. And so, professional help, right? Professional assistance. And you can be assisting or you can get some assistance. The Queen of Swords, this is my Virgo card. They are critical thinkers. They are also they are critics, right? They have very discerning energies. This is somebody that you're behaving as, because that's the column that it describes how you're behaving in this situation. She's definitely a fighter, though. I mean, she's not going to let anyone get over on her. It won't happen. She'll cut them off first. So this is cutting ties, cutting situations and people and, businesses or companies or whatever that aren't treating you properly. But stay out of this mentality, right? Use this one. Use the Seven of Wands. Stick to the high perspective here. She's great with detail, so professional assistance is wonderful. She can get to the fine print. She can go through the details. She's very detail-oriented. Some people might call it nitpicky, but when you're in this kind of situation, you want the details. You want those fine. You want to read through the fine print. You want to know exactly, what's on the table. No holds barred. It's good energy in this instance. Unless, of course, you're being the devil. Unless, of course, you're being too harsh, because this is somebody who can be quite harsh with their words. Maybe there's a reason for it, To everything there is a season and a reason. So only you can figure that out. Only you can decide. Very nice. Triumph and security. The sword cuts both ways, remember. Right? We can be critical, we can be overly critical, right? We can be discerning or we can be too critical. But that Ace of Swords offers you triumph and security, is seeing things clearly and acting through that clarity, through that honesty. It's the Excalibur sword that only the true can wield. It is my yes card. So whatever you're doing here is wonderful, right? Whatever you're preparing for, whatever you're writing up, is going to give you an edge. There is a judgment. There absolutely is a judgment here. So if you are competing for something, right, there's a yes answer. And like I said, keep your perspective high. The chances are that you win out over the situation. You win out because of the clarity, because you know the details, right? And because you overcome this mentality, this feeling of lack. It's like the victim role here. And you can get over that. You can stop that. You can think more logically and clearly. Really nice. This is an interesting card too. I think it's an important card. And I think it goes really well with the Ace of Swords because there's clarity. The Judgment is the clarion call. All of a sudden, we know where we belong. We know that judgment. We know what we should do. They're epiphanies. It's a rebirth. It's a wonderful, wonderful card. Really great card. And this is definitely somebody who makes judgments, but uses critical thinking, looks at all the details, understands it correctly, honestly and truthfully. They rarely let sentiment in. The king more so than the queen. she can create a lot of chaos around her, though. But the head is clear, right? Through her actions, she can create some dust around her, absolutely. And sometimes that's helpful, right? through the details, you can confuse people. Through facts and figures, right? Through logic and reason, because a lot of people don't use that. Interesting. Things are in a state of flux at the moment, right? But they're changing. This is major arcana. So major arcanas always talk about the internal world, your spiritual life, the underlying force behind your actions. This is spiritualizing what you do, right? It uses the energy of the sacred, right? The two, alchemy, fire and water, to blend them. It is asking you to be moderate, to temper yourself, to mind your temper. And this is somebody who's a little bit upwinded. It is associated with Sagittarius. So when the creative fires of Sagittarius or any fire sign is not focused on creating, it turns on itself and it becomes anger. And that's why Temperance is saying fire and water. This is a bit fiery. I mean, she's not fire, right? But she is a redhead, right? There's a hothead there. So, yeah, be mindful. Temper yourself. Allow things for change. Spiritualize your activities, right? Remember, what's the higher purpose here? What's the higher source? What's the force for good? And bringing that into equilibrium with the Temperance card. Mind your temper. We were just talking about Sagittarius, Page of Wands. So yeah, yeah, they believe what they believe. They have very strong philosophy, Sagittarians. These are good friends, but again, in the position of you and how you're behaving. So their motto is, even when I'm wrong, I'm right. And use that creative force, use that creative principle for good. You believe what you believe, and I can see that here. Just don't believe in lack, right? There's plenty. Life is plentiful. The earth is plentiful. Well, this is interesting because the judgment card rather comes right before the world. So we find out where we belong, what our place is in this universe, right? In this world. And then we're on a level up. Now the Magician has one of these wands. By the time we go through the entire cycle, we've learned something and we're more balanced. Now we have 2 wands ready to create on a level up with the World card. Now, there can also be things happening out in the world. Truth can come out. Truths come out with the Ace of Swords. And remember, that sword cuts both ways. Okay? It is a graduation card, This may be things and situations. It's cyclical, right? So you may be onto a new cycle, but there are a few little things that you have to finish up before you graduate, before you move on to that next cycle, before you move on to that level up. And in the meantime, you're sort of in a sacred, protective box, ring, whatever. Okay? Nice, really nice. The only difficult I see is with you. But these are challenges that we face together, so there can be a couple of people that you're dealing with here. One of them is a little bit young, I'm going to say. The other one can be a bit critical. But we're talking about air here, even though I attribute this to Virgo, and fire. What does Spirit want you to know here? You have the Five of Cups. Okay, so this is something, again, that we're trying to balance out. Lamentation, it says here, moving on. Okay? Acceptance, forgiveness, pessimism, or regret is the Five of Cups. I say acceptance, right? Accept what you cannot change. Change what you can, right? This is emotional instability, but this card and Spirit is asking you to not keep your focus on what is lost, but to focus on what is still good and standing in your life, and that will grow. Okay? It's a force. Electromagnetic. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been helpful. It's a good reading. That 5 energy forces you to, or pushes you rather. You can stay in this energy as long as you want to, but it pushes you. It gives you that uncomfortable, unstable feeling that says, all right, I got to fix this already. I got to find some balance, right? 5, 6. 6 is balance. Okay? All right, I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new moon reading, and I'm grateful for you watching and listening. I only hope that it is helpful. Take good care. Talk to you soon. Bye.